All right, welcome back. It is early May 1862, and we'll start off in Virginia. Stuart's raid through Western Virginia was relatively unsuccessful, no battles, and um, didn't really even get close to Morgantown. So the cavalry force is on its way back to Starrsburg to resupply. I did get a partisan unit up here in Morgan, West Virginia, who's going to attempt to destroy the railroad. Um, Meanwhile, let's focus on mainly what's happening in the Peninsula as the Peninsula campaign has officially started. Magruder's force, which was holding Williamsburg, was immediately um, defeated by McClellan's four divisions and retreated into Hanover. They're now going to go to Richmond. Ewell's force, who had the division from Richmond, arrived one day too late to partake in the battle and immediately started to retreat, and is now retreating back to New Kent. What I'm doing is I'm sending the Richmond division, um, um, Alexander, to Kent, who's going to also meet Ewell there, and um, basically we're going to set up a new defensive line. We're going to set up a new defensive line there. Um, Eventually, we'll need to have a force in Richmond as too, and ideally these can march to the sound of a gun. I don't like the idea of retreating all the way back to Richmond. It's nice to be able to maintain this railroad, which goes into New Kent. Um, I've laid several. Um, I've laid a couple sea mines, one here in James, and the other in New York. In addition, I'm sending out our submarine to attempt to sink a ship. So we could do some damage to the Union ships and get some more national morale. Over in Norfolk and Suffolk, Johnston's division will return to Suffolk, and Beauregard will continue to hold Norfolk. So those are the main highlights there. Kentucky is starting to look a little interesting because the Union has now been able to push me back far enough where we've lost control of both the Nelson and the Marion Railroad. What that's going to do is potentially allow the Union to go around and cross the Green River just below Marion, Kentucky. For me to counter that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a division back to Barron, Kentucky, and Forney, who's now a corps attached to Albert Sidney Johnson, will meet that division there in Barron, Kentucky. We do have a small division in Bowling Green. Probably the main interest this turn will be whether or not Jackson's actually able to rail over and attack Grant. So he's currently scheduled to arrive in 2 days, which is 2 railroad days, and he's on offensive posture and the normal sustained attack. Polk's force, which has lost about half of its force, defending very, very well, will continue to be on defend at all costs. What we don't know is what Pope will do. The Davis division doesn't really have much, although Keyes' division could actually play a part. There were questions last in the community about whether or not an actual army stack can attack, and I can tell you in the case this is definitely the case. Here is Breckinridge and Stuart's divisions. They are part of Jackson's army stack. You can see that they took some slight hits. In addition, you can actually see that Stuart's division here actually destroyed some enemy elements, excuse me. And actually both Stuart and Polk and Bragg are eligible for promotion. Unfortunately, kind of a limitation of the game, we're actually not able to do the promotion this turn, and I think it's going to be a decent option next turn, because you can't do a promotion when the division or the general is part of another stack, but we need Stuart to remain there. Otherwise, Claiborne will continue to hold Fort Donelson. Out in Missouri, We have the cavalry units and the horse battery on from the Provisional Army of Arkansas will arrive almost this turn. Meanwhile, McCulloch's force is continuing to recover, and as you can see, there's another battery here, so we actually have 3 batteries situated. This is actually a pretty good position for the Confederacy in Missouri because there's actually not a super easy way for the Union to get around. They have to actually go all the way over to Warsaw, Missouri, and cross here, or they have to cross through from Caldwell to Hart and to Buffalo. And as you can see, there are actually 2 rivers here. In addition, we still control the railroad, and interestingly, we still control the railroad south of St. Louis. The Union hasn't made the effort to take over that. So that gives us a potential opportunity to attack St. Louis later. The Union, they have a couple divisions recovering here in Lexington. They have some sort of unknown cavalry force here. I'm actually going to just let our forces rest one more turn here. Meanwhile, our supply wagon will go down to Fort Scott to resupply. And I'm hoping Waddy can force these couple of Union forces here in Fort Smith to surrender. Finally, Sibley is going to go back and take over control of in East Donna, and we will be attacking. Baylor will be attacking Santa Fe. The Union force is actually gone. I don't know where they are. It's possible that they joined here, but this is a strategic city, so going to try to take it. We don't have any money, so we're actually going to print money again this turn. And as far as what's being built, getting some replacements. I just ordered a couple of militia units in Richmond as they're cheap. And we have several more small brigades coming online in Tennessee and then a large one in New Orleans. All right, let's run the turn and see what happens. Okay, there really wasn't a whole lot of movement. I'll take us over, just starting with Virginia. We were able to destroy the railroad. Didn't see any movement here. It looks like some of the Union forces actually left Alexandria. Down on the peninsula, the Union is in Williamsburg. There were no battles. We now have forces here in Kent. There was a battle out in Columbus, and I'm just going to bring it up for you. So it was on day 2, and it was Confederate victory. Actually, the Union just took slightly more casualties. Grant is actually still here, as you can see, and our Polk's forces is recovered a little bit of its power, and then here is Grant's force, and Pope actually didn't look like it really did anything. Meanwhile, I didn't really see any other movement, so it was a pretty quiet turn. There is a Union force has popped up here in Lawrence. Other than that, our supply wagon made it to Fort Scott, and finally we are in Santa Fe. They are besieged. Baylor did not attack. So yeah. Okay, so let's see if there are any interesting messages. Yeah, so Baylor reverted to a defensive stance. Nothing happened in Fort Smith. The United States is doing some drafts, doing some clearing. So we had a sea mine that was successful in New York, and in James, our submarine was not successful. There was the battle. Yeah, they're mostly just movement. A few forces have finished. Oh, that's cool. So we had the CSS Alabama has been launched, and we printed money. We got a new the clause has arrived. We have a blockade runner ready to sell, and that's pretty much it. Um, our morale's up to 137. We gained 2 from regional decisions and 2 from options and events. We lost 1. Return a neutral value. If you look at the Union morale is 79, so it's a pretty big difference right now, and we're still um, have almost a 2-to-1 lead in victory points and gaining 13 per turn. So a pretty quiet turn. Not too much happens. Maybe we'll be able to attack Grant again. So next turn. Okay, all right. See you next time.